That's it. We're on. Pete says we're on. Well, what does he know? He hanging out with me. He couldn't know too much. Anyway, I hope Dave can make sense out of all this stuff that we're doing. Because a while ago, the last thing I think it's on here is that 1975 disaster, right? That was really a disaster. And we showed you the neck and everything. You haven't carved the neck yet, Pete. Oh, okay, we'll show you that later on. Anyway, here's another disaster. This bass was made for Jerry Carver. Jerry was a wonderful, wonderful musician. Back in those days, he was playing with David Sanchez. Hey, put it on pause for a minute, okay? As a matter of fact, just keep it on, it's okay. I just want maybe I should just shut this thing off while I'm doing this, you know? I get phone, my phone rings all the time, folks. I'm in the bar somewhere, and somebody says, your phone's ringing. I says, I know, it rings all the time. After a while, you just got to say, wait, I'll call him back, you know. And I always do. Anyway, I was saying that Jerry was playing with, at that time, he was playing with David Sanchez. And I made this bass for him, and I made a double neck guitar for David, a 6-string and a 12-string. All maple. I like to see that guitar. That was a long time ago. I think there's a picture of it on the website somewhere, I know. I have a picture of Mike Parisi with it. Anyway, this bass was made May 13th, 1977. And Jerry is the original owner. Over the years, Jerry was a great bass player, a great teacher. A lot of the students, if you've heard me mention the name Brian Mooney. Brian Mooney was a student of Jerry's. Ryan Thompson. Well, there was about 5 or 6 guys that got basses from Jerry. I know when I talk about the days of the real music and the studio work and all the stuff that was going on back in the 70s, Jerry was a big part of it, and he's still doing it. And he had a little accident last Friday, a week ago. He said he was doing a sound check and the people didn't have the cables taped down right. And he was carrying his bass to wherever, and he tripped over the cables. He fell. He said he didn't get hurt, but the bass, the headstock broke. It didn't break all the way off. You getting close up to this, Pete? Yeah? We should have taken a picture of it when it was completely open. We just put some glue in it recently and clamped it. That's the first stage of fixing it up a little bit, you know. And what we're going to do after this, we're going to do it right now actually, because it's pretty dry. The glue's been sitting long enough. And we're going to take this back veneer off and then put a new veneer and reshape this whole area in here all around. And just give it a good cleaning up. I know people, Jerry, when he first did this, he said, oh my God, it's over. I've been playing this bass for 35 years, and it's a disaster. And when he came in and showed it to me, Pete was here too, and we were both saying, like, we were very, very casual about it, because this is actually an easy fix, you know, compared to some of the stuff. I mean, I've had little scratches on finishes where it would take forever to try to get it blended in with what was all around, you know. Or you get a fingerboard that's not cooperating right. It takes forever. This is like, this is nothing, you know. It looks the worst whenever you look at it. Wow, that whole thing is broken off. How are they going to do that? Believe me, this was nothing compared to, like I said, some of the stuff I go through. And back in the days of Dan Armstrong, and even when I was just doing repair work, I think this kind of a thing was like second to you know, redressing frets and things like that, setting people's instruments up. Next to that operation was somebody breaking their headstock on it or getting a crack. Stanley Clark, that's how I met Stanley Clark. Actually, I think he had an EB, what was the hollow body Gibson short scale? Was that an EB2 or something? I forget the number. That's what he had at the time. And the neck came right out of the body right here, you know. And that's how I met him. That was the first time I did any work for Stanley Clark, you know. And actually, Jerry, well, when Jerry picks this up, we're going to film Jerry because he's a real character, and I mean that in the nicest way. He's a real gentleman. He's a great musician, and he was here the other day telling all kinds of stories. He's a great storyteller, and when he comes back to pick this up, maybe we'll get him to do some of that for us. But he said he was playing some other basses at that time, and he just wasn't satisfied. And he said he talked to Stanley, and Stanley gave him my card, and that's how he came to me. Anyway, this is a bird's eye maple all the way. These are not the original pickups. The original pickups were the shallower pickups like the one I have in my original bass. And I think somewhere along the line we put EMGs in for Jerry. So all of this is all new. But this whole bass, can you see the frets, Pete? Mm-hmm. This guy plays, you know. Every time I've had this bass anywhere in the shop at all, I could always count on either putting new frets in it or fixing them up a little bit. These I can still fix these up. But Jerry, you know, I'd rather see a bass like this than someone bringing me something in that's all shiny and has never been played. You know, this guy plays this instrument, and he plays very well too. He's a wonderful musician. Yeah, I just wanted you to see this operation too, along with some of the other stuff that we're doing. I hope Dave can make some sense out of all this, because he's got this whole bunch of footage we got on this card. There's all kinds of stuff.